and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is Black Medal of Honor recipients, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about Black Medal of Honor recipients, Dr. Daniel Gibran. Dr. Gibran is the chairperson of the Department of History, Political Science, and Geography at Tennessee State University. And of course, Dr. Gibran, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Well, thank you.
You know, I think that there's nothing more important than to talk about the Medal of Honor recipients, and I think that you've gained quite a reputation over the last several months in Tennessee and throughout the nation in the efforts that you've given dealing with Black Medal of Honor recipients, and that is what we'd like to talk about today. But before we talk about that, Dr. Gibran, let's have you to talk about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in eventually leading you to the chairperson of the Department of History, Political Science, and Geography at Tennessee State University. Let's talk about that, and then we'll get into the Medal of Honor and some of the other problems associated with that.
Well, surely. I was born in British Guyana, South America, so I'm considered a typical West Indian. And I've had the good fortune of having a British education. I did a master's at the University of Kent at Canterbury in England, and a PhD in International Relations and Politics at the University of Aberdeen in Scotland. After graduation, I worked at the World Bank for a while in Washington, D.C. And then the following year, I was an assistant professor and then became an associate professor at Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina. During my tenure at Shaw University, I had the good fortune also of taking a very intensive course in military history at West Point. And it was during that time that I wrote this proposal to conduct an archival research as to why no African-American soldier received the Medal of Honor. And I have had the good fortune also, for the purpose of some of your viewers, I have lived in 8 different countries, and I have traveled extensively to over 46 different countries. I don't look that old, you know, but I am up there in age.
Good. You know, Dr. Brown, I think when we talk about Black Medal of Honor recipients, most Americans recognize the prestige that's generally associated with the Medal of Honor, but there might be members in our audience who really might not understand exactly what the Medal of Honor is all about and why the controversy over whether or not African Americans have been recipients of that honor. What is the Medal of Honor? Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Right. Well, the Medal of Honor, first and foremost, is the nation's highest military decoration or award that can be bestowed on an American soldier who is engaged in armed conflict against an enemy of the United States. It is awarded by the President of the United States in the name of the Congress of the United States. It's a decoration for valor. The individual soldier or serviceman has to distinguish himself with such a feat of heroism, so conspicuous, above and beyond the call of duty. But the Medal of Honor itself is not the medal. It is what lies behind it. It is an idea that when in the US military they were looking back into the history of this country and across in Europe, and they wanted to find a precedent going back to Napoleonic times. What can we do for a soldier that will inspire more courage, more bravery, at the same time instill in him all that is good and noble about this society? They came upon the idea of the Medal of Honor. So the Medal of Honor itself is not the medal. It is a concept. It is an idea that attempts to capture all that is noble and wonderful in American society. It signifies or it represents those aspects of American society that places emphasis on individual liberty and freedom. What an individual can do faced with, in combat against the enemy. His spirit can rise, and he will demonstrate such feats of bravery, of heroism, that a grateful nation will bestow upon him an unsurpassed recognition. That